Well, here we are. We made it to the end of Modern Warfare 3. The final event just went live today, and it's going to be going on for the next 6 days. There are 6 different camo patterns that you're able to earn, 5 of which are completely animated, including the Live, Laugh, Lava camo. All you got to do is get 7 operator kills with a Jack Purifier, and it looks awesome. It reminds me of the Gorod Krovi camo from Black Ops 3. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure to jump in and get these challenges done. There's 14 different items, and at the very end, you get the Batch Test and Balloon Test operator for Jabber. And this kind of brings us full circle, because if you remember originally, you unlock the tester skin for Jabber back during the MW3 beta, and you can see on the pants it says fixed, and then when you look at the batch test skin that unlocks today, it says fixed. So it's kind of come full circle, and I really enjoy that. I think that's a really cool little shout out to the past if you're somebody that played the beta all the way back when. I want to talk a little bit about Modern Warfare 3 today. It's not going to be too much of a structured video. I'm just going to kind of ramble on. So if you enjoy those types of videos, welcome. If not, I'm sorry. But I just want to give my thoughts about MW3 and pretty much everything in between, especially because we're only, under 2 weeks away from Black Ops 6 at this point, and we're going to be getting a lot of information surrounding that game very, very soon. By the way, the gameplay you're going to be watching is just a series of matches on the Everything shipment. I thought it'd be good to play, especially with the newest aftermarket part that dropped today for the Stormender, which effectively turns it into a hip-fire boom cannon at close range. It emits electricity, which will take down enemies, in certain cases multiple enemies if they're bunched up close enough, and I really do like this one, mainly because of how much damage you could do with it on shipment. But anyway, the first thing I want to say in this video is sorry to the folks at Sledgehammer, to the developers at Sledgehammer, because when this game originally came out, there was lots of conversation surrounding whether or not this was just a year 2 of Modern Warfare 2, whether or not this was going to be separate in its own DNA. And I think that they've proved us all wrong. And the fact that we're able to look back on this game now, at the end of the year, with every event, every single challenge, every single operator, every single battle pass, and everything in between, new maps and old maps coming back, remixed maps, I think that they did an incredible job, especially when you consider the time that they had in order to do these things. It is nothing short of a miracle that they were able to bring us such a fun, fast-paced, and almost downright classic feeling Call of Duty in comparison to what we had in the previous year with Modern Warfare 2. I don't know what Infinity Ward was doing then, and I sure as hell hope that they don't make the same mistake when they come back in the upcoming year after BO6, but I will say this. Sledgehammer has kind of been there to pick up the pieces for the past couple of years at this point, and every time that they've stepped in to do so, they've created a memorable experience that I don't think anyone should shit on them for, to be completely fair. Like, they have done a really good job with the time that they've had, but not only that, they've done an incredible job communicating this year with blog posts and just straight up tweets and just kind of being able to communicate like old times. It's been a much better feeling experience all around within the community. It's been a much more positive experience as well, and for that I do thank them, and I think that they did an incredible job once again with the time that they had and with what they were dealing with coming into this year. It's almost bittersweet though, because I don't know what's next for Sledgehammer. I don't know if they're just going to move on and make their own game. I don't know if those rumors that we discussed a while ago about there being a Black Ops 2 rebirth in between Black Ops 6 and whatever Infinity Ward's doing, kind of like MW3 acted as a continuation. There's rumors that there's going to be something like that, but around Black Ops 2. I don't know if they're working on that. I just know that I'm gonna miss them. And I've always said that about Sledgehammer. I missed them after Advanced Warfare. I missed them after COD World War II. Surprisingly, yes, I even missed them after Vanguard. I really do like the creativity that the team at Sledgehammer brings to the table. They always kind of jump out of their comfort zone to do things that we haven't necessarily seen in Call of Duty. Get high, get higher. That's a good example of it. I mean, we've seen like free run and stuff in the past, but this kind of takes it to a completely different level. And I really, really wish that all of these other teams would build on stuff like that. You know, Call of Duty is at a point now where it doesn't necessarily just need to be about gun-on-gun action. There are so many different ways to allow players to experience this game. Another good example of that is Prop Hunt. You know, Infected even kind of falls in that area. We've had Infected over the years multiple times, but Prop Hunt we've only seen you know, a handful of times here and there. But I really wish that these things would become core staples, just like Team Deathmatch and Search and Destroy are. These are really fun experiences that could definitely be built upon. They can get their own maps and even mode variants and things like that. I do like the idea. The creativity was awesome. You know, the challenges that you can earn, the little secrets and Easter eggs you could find, all that different stuff is cool. And I'm really happy that they have the opportunity to bring back Get High and Get Higher. It's even right now, as I'm doing this commentary, it's in the game, so you can go play it if you never had a chance to experience it. I just want to say, too, animation-wise and customization-wise, some of the skins and effects and different things that we saw throughout the year have been wild. I mean, we haven't seen stuff like this since Black Ops Cold War, which wasn't really that long ago, but it is so cool to see some of the flashier weapon and specs. It is really nice to see some of the crazier character skins, and the fact that we even had a chance to earn some of these really awesome looking skins through the battle pass or through just completing in-game challenges. That is also a super big thumbs up for me. So I'm really happy that they decided to do that a lot more this year. The in-game challenges really mattered to me as a player, and I think that they were able to accomplish that to a T, more so than any other game in the past few years. Having those in-game challenges just provides so much more for the player that already reached max rank, so much more for the player that already did all their challenges. And I'm not going to apologize for buttering up Sledgehammer. They did such an incredible job this year by just providing more things to do in-game outside of whipping out your wallet and spending money. Now, of course, that still exists in the store, and they still gave us quite a few bundles throughout the year that does show that they are super creative, are able to do some pretty downright scary things when it comes to some of these skins, but also creative things, and it doesn't stop people from buying things in the store. So the fact that there are free options for you to work towards in-game with challenges that are just seemingly never ending throughout the entire year of MW3, I will not apologize for buttering them up, because they did an incredible job, and I would be happy to see them do this again. And I'd really like to see the other studios do this, because outside of just earning camo challenges, being able to get other things besides calling cards and emblems, that's also a big plus for me. So I'm just going to leave it there. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, obviously. Throughout the year, we've had a couple of stinker seasons that, I don't know, felt a little bit light. This last season did, in particular, I think because we're so close to the release of BO6. But there is one common success for every single season so far out of all 6 that we've gotten. The original maps. The original, brand new, never before seen experiences that Sledgehammer created for this game. I never really encountered a singular map that made me say, yeah, I'm voting against this, I hate it. I actually find each one memorable in one way, shape, or form for various reasons that make me actually say, yeah, I don't mind playing this. I actually want to jump in and try to find a new route, or I want to jump in and try a new technique with a new weapon. There are so many different ways to experience everything in this game, mainly because of the aftermarket parts and the way that weapons constantly evolved throughout the seasons, that when these new maps dropped in, it felt extremely refreshing even to jump back into a Season 1 experience with some of the new stuff that dropped with Season 6, if that makes any sense. Like, it didn't feel too samey unless you were, like, playing Shipment 24/7 all the time. But when you go and you play those original Modern Warfare 2 maps on top of the new experiences that we had in MW3, the DLC maps were awesome. They were just so damn good. And I think that Sledgehammer should pat themselves on the back for that. One thing that I really wish they did more of throughout the year were the experimental playlists. If you guys don't remember, at the beginning of the year, they did these experimental playlists to actually change certain things to gauge the interest from the community, and if there was enough interest, they would actually make the change for the rest of the playlists, which I really like. They did do experimental playlist things here and there, and they did kind of mess around with like how streaks work and stuff like that. But I really liked when they focused on one specific thing. I wish that they took it a step further and even added some sort of voting system within the game for players to give their feedback directly after playing the match. Kind of like how at the end of a match, you'll sometimes get a pop-up that says, did you enjoy this match? Yes, no, maybe, or whatever. That would be really cool. I think that that could be built on once again. I really liked the experimental playlists, but I don't know. For me, it didn't seem like they kept them going for too long outside of the first few that were focused on mainly. The other thing that unfortunately didn't receive too much love throughout the seasons was the war mode. War mode, something that I really enjoy. Operation Spearhead and Operation Tin Man both came through pretty early on in the year, and then silence. There was really nothing else after that. And to be completely fair, those are larger, more detailed, more, I guess you'd say, intrusive types of maps that would take a lot of time to create. And if you focus on making one of those, it takes a lot of time away from doing things like mutation or horde point or some of the cool things that we've had a chance to play. So I totally understand it. As it sits right now, both of those operations, super fun to play in the war mode. I'm just glad that they didn't take it away altogether. It is still there. We're still able to experience it. I'm just guessing that the reason it didn't receive any more love is because it probably didn't have too many people jumping in and playing it throughout the seasons. I'd imagine that's one of those modes where people jump in, play a few games, and they're like, okay, back to shipment, back to getting more XP or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably what it is. But other than that, I think that they've done good. They've been very responsive with playlist updates. If there's an issue with the weapon, they've turned around and fixed it very quickly, even when there are times where developers were on vacations. And yeah, it's just been a complete 180 to what we saw in the past. Very responsive, and more so, very receptive, and even willing to like give their own feedback about certain feedback that the community was giving. That was one thing that I think we were completely stonewalled on when Infinity Ward was at the helm for MW2. I don't know what it was, but I felt like we had zero communication at all throughout that year, especially when it came to community feedback. There are still things that I did enjoy about MW2. Don't get me wrong. I know I harp on it a lot, but this is such a big change from what we had with that game to what we have here with Sledgehammer. So once again, I'm sad to see them go again for who knows how long, but I'm happy that this game exists. I'm happy that it's here. If somebody were to go and pick this game up for the first time and jump in and load in, there are so many things to do. It's going to take you so much time to experience every little aspect of this game. And that includes Modern Warfare Zombies. For as long as they decide to keep the servers up, Modern Warfare Zombies is a fun experience in its own right. It has a really cool story behind it, and there's a lot to do there that is actually very interesting and will take quite a bit of time to build up your characters or multiple characters to do some of the end game things that are available. I do wish, and I think this is one of the downfalls of Modern Warfare Zombies, I do wish that they expanded on it a little bit in terms of where we were able to go. All of the end game areas where we're jumping into the rift. It's taking us to a different area of Al Mazrah. I don't know. It just didn't click with me personally because we had just got done playing DMZ and we had all of those areas. In fact, some of those locations still had DMZ keys intact, which confused a lot of us, thinking that there was like a big windy Easter egg, and in reality it was just leftover assets and they didn't do anything. But yes, even with what we have now, it is a fun experience. I still find myself playing it even to this day. It's a good spot to get your battle pass tokens because, you know, games go for so long. I wish it was expanded upon. I wish we had a Rebirth Island style experience for Modern Warfare Zombies. I wish that there were more events that took place in Zombies. But overall, what they were able to do and what they were able to accomplish leading into BO6, I think has been a pretty good experience all in all. And I don't have too many complaints outside of the constant crashing, which even happened in DMZ, and when you crash, you lose everything, which is so unfortunate. They did fix this along the way in most cases, but there are still issues that will, you know, persist when it comes to crashing, and sometimes you have a death that shouldn't have been taken, or a helicopter lands on you, or something funky happens with a glitch and you get sent onto the map and you can't get revived. There are all these different types of things that could happen, but I guess that's what happens when you're on a gigantic experience with so many other players and just constant open world things happening with thousands of zombies at any given time. Other than that, I really liked the campaign too. Like, from what they were able to do, there were some unique things there. I will say this, you know, spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't played by now or you didn't get spoiled already, I don't think Soap needed to die. I think that that was a bad decision. I thought that was bad storytelling, to be completely honest. It was such a strange death that didn't really make much sense in the grand scheme of things when you look back to everything the team went through in Call of Duty. And it was an unceremonious death at that. It's something that I just think didn't need to happen. But yeah, it's pretty set in stone at this point that Soap is dead, especially with how they've been doing things throughout the seasons with some of their emblems and calling cards, and even in this newest event. And he's still dead, and he's never coming back. Oh my God, Soap! So yeah, that boy is dead. That's about the only thing that I disliked about the campaign. You know, I did enjoy some of the open world situations that they did, because it did create some replayability, especially when looking for some of those things that will pop trophies and achievements. But overall, fun experience for what it was, for the time that they had. Just some really weird situations when it came to how the story wrote out. And I am interested in seeing what goes on from here, and what our team is going to be doing, the 141, what they're going to be doing in terms of MW4. Are we going to finally get MW4? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Are they going to go do a reboot of Ghosts? I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out. But anyway, I didn't play Warzone. I don't care about it. That's pretty much it. But yeah, shout out to Sledgehammer. You guys did a great job. If anybody else feels differently, of course, you can leave your comments down below. There's always bugs and glitches and things that are going to happen when you play a Call of Duty game, especially as large as they are now. But I think for the time that they were given, the amount of content that they made, the communication, and the amount of updates and just downright crazy cosmetics that they managed to put into this game, they did some really cool stuff. And I think that deserves a round of applause, and I think that they should pat themselves on the back. So that is my thoughts, my final thoughts about MW3. I'm looking forward to BO6. I can definitely see myself coming back to MW3 to play. However, we will see how the team at Treyarch handles their own Black Ops 6 experience throughout the seasons, and what they intend on doing for their seasonal updates, because it's kind of already getting crazy in terms of some of the bonus items that you get through the Vault Edition of the game. Let's be honest there. So we'll see what they end up doing. And Treyarch has always been pretty good about doing some wild cosmetics. So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this commentary, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Subscribe for more videos coming very soon. And don't forget to ring that bell icon next to the subscribe button. That way YouTube will notify you when my videos go live. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.